Sanjay Leela Bhansali, welcome to India today. There is a sort of obsession, a revolution that has caught up on Instagram, on social media. You open your phone, you open Instagram, you open any social media portal, and you see Hira Mandi. And what do you see of Hira Mandi? You see the love that is outpouring from every corner. But there is one particular clip that has gone viral for the right reasons. That is of Aditi Rao Haidari's walk. Now this walk is being celebrated. There is so much love coming for that walk. The walk is from Saiya Hato Jao. You know, that elegant walk. It's being celebrated for many reasons. One is for the fact that there is no touch up on her. You know, her body rolls or the way she is walking, the curves, everything is being celebrated. At a time when women are put in a box, you have been the champion of celebrating women for who they are. I want to speak to you about that moment and the joy of capturing that.
Yeah, I think Saiya Hato Jao was the first thing I shot in Hira Mandi. So I was very nervous. I was wondering कि कहाँ जाएगा? Will I be able to achieve in this song that all that I've been able to achieve over the years on a song? People like to see my songs. I put in a lot of effort into choreographing, rehearsals in this very room we do for days together. The choreographer sits here. We are brainstorming, and ever since I made this song, I was in love with this composition. This is the most played song in my car, Hato Jao. So going to shooting, coming back, going for work, anything, Hato Jao would work. There was something about that composition that I felt was exactly what should be for that particular situation. It actually talks of her asking for her lover to let her go.
Right.
It is the search for freedom already. कि मुझे भैया आप जाने दो वो that culminates as a freedom song at the last song. So there is a thought to this song. It is a very important song of a courtesan who is very secretly fighting in the freedom struggle, fighting for the freedom struggle, and expresses the same thing in a very different way to the Nawab, to her patron. But she had to yet constantly prove that she is seductive,
right.
She is still going to seduce you, she still is not a part of the freedom struggle. So she was trying to cover it up. So how do we make it very sensuous, this song? So, गाने में है ही sensuality, but when it came to this one particular music piece, it was choreographed in a dance form. She and the dancers were choreographed and they were dancing and all that. And on the set, I said, no, there's something not right about it. It is not something that I will remember. So I said, well, one second, you're sitting down, when you get up, you just walk and let that dupatta of yours fall. Because Aditi is a very sensuous woman.
Yes.
She's a very beautiful woman, and she's put on weight. So she's not the usual size 0 girls that without a waist, without everybody works in the gym so much that they're not attractive anymore.
Right.
But Aditi is a beautiful woman. So I said, when she walked, I said, just walk, look at him once, walk, and it just fell into place. There are lots of I think the impressions of Kamal Umro is Meena Kumari just walking to the Mujra, or Moe Pangat pe Madhubala walking away. Those are childhood, I think, things that resonated in my mind and are resonating and will continue to. The power of these great filmmakers, of how an image leaves a lasting impression on you, and you want to find interpretations of that same moment in your own way, different. So Madhuri would walk like that in Mahadala in a different way, or in this one I made her walk, or Richa walks in a certain way. To walk to the dance floor is a very, very important moment in a mujra. I feel when the courtesan walks from one end and comes and sits in front of the patron, and then she starts to perform. That walk from Pakiza and Mughalism stayed with me. So it is my tribute to...
What a beautiful tribute.
Tribute to these great filmmakers who have taught us the art of nuances, the art of finding detailing in your work. It's dance, मतलब खाली dance करते रहना नहीं है.
Right.
वो चलने में भी आप उस नवाब को, पेट्रन को आप seduce कर सकते हो. वो उसको एक लगता है कि भैया ये एक उसका मूल भी तेरी चाल के लिए एक मूल रखा मैंने यहाँ पे. So these are learnings of dance. मतलब गोल गोल फिरते रहो वो नहीं. There is a lot more. बैठ के भी हो सकता है, देख के भी हो सकता है. So these are all experiments that I keep discovering within myself of moments that have left a deep impression on my mind.
You know, another visual moment like this is Richa Chadda's moment, that 360-degree shot that you've taken of her. The pain, the anguish, yet the joy, the fact that she is in that moment, she's breathing it. I mean, absolutely, it feels like there was some sort of an intervention on that day, and she was possessed, and so were you. And that scene is also being celebrated with equal love. And she said in one of her interviews that she's given 99 retakes, the maximum that she's ever. And she said it's worthy of doing. You know, he demands that, and we have to give it to him.
That was a moment which was very special. उनका बैठ नहीं रहा था वो. She was trying, and I was not getting what I wanted. तो थोड़ी सी after a point I got a little upset कि भैया you've rehearsed it, it's not falling in place, you're not getting the state of mind. तो थोड़ा सा मैं गुस्सा हो गया था, तो वो थोड़ी नाराज़ होके वो जाके खड़ी रही और मैंने कहा शॉट लो, आई डोंट वांट टू. और उसको जो नाराज़गी उसके चेहरे पे आई, दैट वाज सो स्पेशल बिकॉज वो जो मोमेंट था वो बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट आई स्पोक टू हर एंड व्हाट शी वाज स्पीकिंग उसका था वो असर.
राइट.
लेकिन वो कैप्चर हुआ वो मोमेंट in all the songs, in all my life that I've shot, very big songs I've shot, big music numbers, big bass. This is one of those rare moments of an actor feeling the humiliation of the scene that she went through, rather than the humiliation of me getting angry or saying how many takes will you want. गुस्सा दोनों तरफा था, but जब तक वो महसूस नहीं होता तब तक वो स्टेट ऑफ माइंड चेहरे पे आता है. और इतनी खूबसूरती से दूसरा एक्टर होता तो शायद वो चला जाता सेट छोड़ के कि भैया आपने मुझे बोल दिया या मैं तो कोशिश कर रहा हूँ या कर रही हूँ. बट उसके और मेरे का एक ही था कि शॉट इज़ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट, द सॉन्ग इज़ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट, द सीन इज़ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट, द सीरीज इज़ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट देन यू एंड मी. You and me are not important. So when she did that shot, it was like I got up, the whole unit clapped, I went and hugged her and we forgot about all that had happened before the shot. But sometimes you have to arrive at that moment. An actor should be ready to arrive at that moment. A director has to wait and bring the actor to that moment.
Correct.
कि वो humiliation था वो तू समझ तो क्या हुआ. तो आपके टेक्स नहीं हो रहे तो अगर मैं आपको थोड़ा सा डांट दूंगा तो आपको वो महसूस होगा कि चार आदमी के सामने मैंने कुछ शायद बोल दिया. तो वो जब समझ में आया और जो जब मोमेंट हुआ तो वो तो नया. और उसने ना वो शॉट, she didn't even let go of even one beat in that. So yes. When I was watching it, I said, she's actually crying. It is not, she's actually not very disturbed. And she is holding on to every, because it was a very complicated shot and lots of movements and lots of posturing. And the last stop, she didn't let go of that moment in that anger of frustration, ke, let it be, I don't want to do it. And she held it, we got over, everybody clapped, I went her, gave her a big hug. I said, I'm sorry if I have said something to you. She said, I'm sorry if I have said something to you. So it was a moment that was waiting to happen. It's very nice that you talk about that moment because that is a moment that you are blessed with. You have to arrive at that moment. Absolutely. On this set. You can't rehearse that moment in a dance floor or an office or a studio or on the set. You have to arrive at that moment, and Hiramandi is full of these moments which we have arrived on the spot, on the spur of the moment, spontaneously. Actors, all ears and eyes and mind and focus to it, all giving their best, a lot of hard work, a lot of body strain, a lot of mind strain. But when you do so many takes and then after a little anger bout and you still hold on to that shot, look at the commitment of the actor. She just is one of the most special shots of a song in my career.
No, and you have so many such beautiful moments all through your career and in Hiramandi. I quickly want to speak to you a bit about your casting process and the mindset that one gets into. And if I want to open that window and get a sneak peek into what happens in that creative mind and how do you process it? Because Taha gave a very interesting anecdote that he was not meant to play Tajdar. And then you saw him and then you realized that he can become Tajdar. You saw Tajdar in him. And he's absolutely, thankful and gratitude of the fact that you saw that. You have done this with so many actors. You've had an idea with a particular name and a face, and then it's taken its own course and become another story with another name. How does casting work for you, and how did it work for Hiramandi?
My casting is primarily Shruti Mahajan. She's been doing my last 3 or 4 films. So when she comes with the casting options over there, it's a spontaneous thing. This person seems right to me. because in that moment of seeing those names that we've discussed, the whole script
Right.
goes through my mind as I'm seeing. I take very little time. It's very instinctive. It's very spontaneous. It's very intuitive. So I don't analyze things too much. If I see Shantanu Maheshwari who's walked into the office for Gangubai, and I'm thinking, yeah, he's on. So they said, a test. I said, yeah, test is on. Let's take him. He was in a dance show. When my mother was watching that dance show, and I went to meet her, I was leaving for office. She said, see, this boy is dancing very well. You should cast him somewhere. So I said, yeah. The same thing happened with Shreya Ghoshal years ago. In 2019, 2000. I was walking home and she was watching the show and she said, this girl is extraordinary. And I looked at her and I called her after some months and said, you will sing for Aishwarya in Devdas, and she couldn't believe it. The same with this Shantanu, the same with Taha. Taha came for some role.
Yeah.
He sat there and I said, you're Tazdar. And he says, who's Tazdar? So I told Shruti, I said, do a test. With him I need to do a test because you've got him for some other character. But I feel that what I've seen is correct. And I feel when casting is spontaneous, yes, you need to do a test, you need to do a thorough, otherwise on the set you get stuck. But you know it in that one moment, that has to be Sonakshi Sinha. There cannot be another Faridan. There cannot be another Malika Jain. It has to be her. So casting, if you get your casting right, half the battle is won.
Right.
A lot of people said, but don't you think we need bigger stars? I said, no, these are fantastic actors. And I need actors. I feel stars is a system which I think we should get rid of in our industry. We need very good actors. And if the stars are very good actors, which I have worked with wonderful stars who are wonderful actors. So for me, they're actors. That star system should be demolished because actor to alag hota hai. Actor jo ability, and each one proved over here that even if I have not acted for Manisha for a long time, or Sonakshi has cut down her work, Aditi has cut down, Richa is also doing very selective. They were as good as any other star could be. So Richa, I felt that the kind of madness that Richa has in her real life, in her day-to-day conversation, right from Ram Leela that I've interacted with her, she's completely a mad hatter and so spontaneous and wonderful and full of joy. So on the set, you're never stressed with an actor like that.
I feel she's made for your film.
Yeah.
She's the perfect material for you to
So
cast.
when she walks in, there is some other line being said, she's talking of some rubbish, then I have to bring her back to it, then again she'll crack. But there's a sense of joy, but I know that she's all the time thinking of her role.
Yes.
She is pretending to be not focused. And so all these people who I can see their hunger. The casting director is an extremely important person, and I trust Shruti. I trust Shruti completely over the kind of 4 options that she gets. And most of the time when I put my hand on this one option or that option, she's always hoping that I would put my hand on that option because that's the chemistry, that's the understanding. She understands my work and she realizes I need an actor who will be spontaneous on the set because I change. What paper I give you to prepare on the day before is not what I shoot the next day. So I'm doing completely opposite of what is on the paper. I'll tell you exactly what I told you before lunch and after lunch are two different things. So are you ready as an actor to take all those diametrically opposite instructions? Because I feel like that at that point of time. So she realizes the importance of good actors rather than very big names. I feel all actors should have big names and they should be celebrated.
You know, to extend this conversation, in fact, Sharmin in all her chats, when she was asked that, was it easy for you to get the film? She said, I couldn't even think for a second that I'm working with my Mamu Jaan. You know, he wasn't that person. For me, he was a director. And this is what I had to surrender to, and I had to become that person. So in her conversations also, she has spoken about that. What was like molding her for this particular role? Because she's raw in a sense that she's not really...
She has a face that is just what Alamzid should be. Somebody who doesn't want to be a Tawayaf, somebody who feels I'm not a Tawayaf, somebody who has no makings of a Tawayaf. So, wo wala kirdar jo tha, or innocence, when all these faces which have lived life, which have seen life, who are surviving through a lot of manipulation and mental games, and you needed somebody with very fresh, innocent quality to her. somebody who doesn't talk like a tawaf, doesn't walk like a tawaf. I'm that person who wants to break free with some pursuit of wanting to write poetry. So I felt that Sharmin was the correct choice for Alamzeeb, not because she is my niece. Yeah, she had to go through the grind. There were innumerable number of tests, there were innumerable number of auditions. There's no end to the number of tests I've done with her. After I've decided to cast her, then I said, you have to go through the grind, you have to get it right, you have to get it right. Because this world, you've never been to. You've never acted in a world like that. All these other actors have worked over the period of time in a film like this, or a character like this, or have understood all these nazakats and thumkas and nakhras and all that. They've understood.
I have to mention Manisha Koirala because this has made us also revisit Khamoshi. So many people are now discussing about that and the work that she's done. And she said in all her chats that, it took me 28 years to do a film with him. What took that? I mean, there was a long gap between you and her working again. Why did you not work with her earlier in any of your films?
नहीं लगा कि होना चाहिए. Khamoshi was a very important film. I was very grateful that she did that film, and she had loved the script. I liked the idea immensely, and she thought it was poignant. It was something unusual. It was something not done before. Parents were possessive about their daughter and not letting her go because she's their ears. She said it's a very unusual project. I am game for it. So I finally went to her and I said, now I've come back, I've had everybody saying no. She said, don't worry, I'll do it. And she was at the top of her game at that point of time. So when she did it, I was very grateful to her, to Salman, to Nana, to Seema Biswas, who were all at the prime time, and I got that cast. I will always be grateful to Manisha for a great performance, for her having to agree to do it. And I said, when time comes, we shall do. I need to let go a lot of things in my mind to settle it. So when Hira Mandi happened, I said, she hasn't worked for a long time. She's a very special actor. She is the most beautiful woman we've had in a long, long time. And I've seen her through 42. We had whatever work I did with Manisha was always special.
Yes.
1942 love story. Songs worked out very well. Khamoshi, even if it didn't do well at the box office, was a very special role in her life. She was outstanding in the film. So let's call her. There is something very pure about her right now. There is something very unseen, not exposed too much. And she's an actor who I know is very intelligent. She's a very intelligent woman. She's a very sharp woman. So her questioning on the set, her understanding of her character, what am I going to do, how will I do. She will listen to all my instructions carefully, then put it in her own way, which an actor, which is the freedom I give an actor. I should allow you to interpret my instructions your way. I cannot tell you how to do it. You have to understand me and want it and give it to me the way I want it.
Right.
And that chemistry and understanding that I've had with Manisha, I never felt that we've not worked for 30 years. The love that she has for me today is a lot more than she had for me 28 years ago, 30 years ago, 96. 94 we started shooting. So it's 30.
Yes, almost.
Yeah, it's a long time. But she's a very special actor. Whenever even in the future, if I'll do something with her, it'll turn out. There's a chemistry. There's a love for her. There's her love for me. Her respect for what I create. And she would listen to me carefully. Then when she's performing, I'm watching her carefully. Because she's doing a few things differently than what I'm asking her to do, which is what I appreciate, which is what I want, which is what I love. So it has been a great one this time working. I have had no complaints or...
This one is for the keeps. I mean, she's equally spoken with so much love.
Right.
And for her also to have this, I think it's absolutely beautiful. I have to say that, you don't socialize, you don't come to parties, you're not on social media. Yet when there is a Sanjay Bhansali film that comes out, it doesn't feel like you're like living in a parallel universe, or these folk stories that are there that you have temper on set. And like I spoke to Sonakshi and she said, what rubbish, he is a taskmaster. We all have said that because he demands perfection. And when you see the scene, or we see the monitor, or when we see the final work, we realize why this happens. And it doesn't happen with every filmmaker. He's special. This is something all these girls have told me. What's the one misconception do you think you would like to clear about yourself if you were given a platform?
No misconceptions. It's for you to conceive what I am and think of what I am and create your own image of what I am. I love my work too much. So once my car enters the Film City Maidan where I shoot most of my work, or a set, or a Mehboob, whichever studio I enter, then I'm a different person. Then I am obsessed, then I am possessed, then I am working from another plane. I am in another universe. I connect to all my creative angels, all the filmmakers that I invoke, all those special souls that I respect and love, that I will talk to them. I'll say, please take care of today's shoot. I will touch the ground and go in. Then I am all there, and I'm there 1 hour, 2 hours before shoot every day, be it a 6 o'clock shift in the morning or whichever shift. Even till date, after 30 years, I will never be 1 hour late on the set, half an hour. So that commitment which I go, and then I want to do certain things, so the actor has to be on the same page, my technician has to be on the same page. I am giving everything, and you can't be on the phone. You have to give me everything. Then you have to understand the nuances. You have to, and I do long takes, I do long shots, lengthy shots. So it's difficult for them to jump from one line timing to another timing, to one move to another move, change over, hit the marks. There are lots of things that they have to do. Because I'm throwing the challenge at you, I'm throwing the card, I'm throwing the ace at you, please throw 3 aces back at me. And if you don't, then you wait for the van for a little while, think and come back. We have to work, you and me are not important. So if I say I'm not getting what I want, and even if I lose my temper, what is wrong in it? Every director will feel that I didn't get the shot, and then somebody is spoiling it or not understanding it. What do? You have to come around, and that moment has to be captured the way.
Absolutely.
So people have made stories that I am angry, that I am badly behaved. I love my actors. I love my assistants who work on the set. I love my technicians. The amount of love that I get, that I give them and I get from them. We are all spoiled. I can't work with the technical crew. You see, I keep repeating them because they give me so much love in spite of me saying, I didn't get this, you're not concentrating, you're not focusing. Be it with Sudeep, and I talk to them openly. So we are like family. Where we say that I don't like it, he will say, look, but I did this. So that communication flow is so good. And they cannot get the same satisfaction when they work outside, because there's a lot more love. There's a love for the work, love for them, love for the finding the precision. Love for the audience, because I want to give them the best, that they never forget what I've given them. And therefore, what we go through on the set is not important.
Right.
What we've created on the set for the world to see is important. When I shouted at somebody, got angry with somebody, or laughed with somebody, or joked with somebody, is never going to be remembered.
Correct.
What car I came in, what big palatial house I live in, nobody's interested. I want to know what Raj Kapoor Saab left behind, not the bungalow that he lived in. Not what he went through on the set, or what turmoil he went through, what his actors went through. So that moment of what we create is so, there's so much of sanctity in it for me. It is my prayer. It is my asking for God and saying my every shot has to be, every day I pray for my shot to be correct. Because what I've got yesterday doesn't mean I'll get it today.
Correct.
What film I got right, my last film, doesn't mean I'll get this film right. I have to work on this one. I can't take that position for granted. So I'm like the smallest worker who will clean the floor to the who sits on the director's chair on my set.
Same. Yeah.
I eat with everybody over there on the set. There is no going to the van. So there is a surrender to my work, and you have to surrender with me. Only then can we create content. And I've been very fortunate to work with people who have given me their best in spite of sometimes I get upset. I'm like a child who says I didn't get my toffee, I am upset. And I want it. I want it the way I want it. I visualized it. So sometimes people get a little upset about it, but I have the courage to also, if I have the courage to get angry with you, I also have the courage to come back to you and apologize to you and say, sorry, I didn't mean it. It was that moment that mattered. So जब तक आपके पास वो courage नहीं है, हिम्मत नहीं है, humility नहीं है, कि जब आपको लगता है कि आपने शायद गलत तरीके से उस एक्टर को उस स्टेट ऑफ माइंड में लाने के लिए कर दिया, तो आपको करे सॉरी बोलने की अगर आप में हिम्मत नहीं है, तो फिर आपको गुस्सा होने का भी हक नहीं है. And my anger is always filled with love and humor. So if you ask anybody if I get angry, but the funniest lines and one-liners come out when I'm angry. So I think everybody loves me, and there are no misconceptions I want to clear. I think people are interested in my work.
Yes.
They're not interested in me. They're not interested in who I am. And the lesser they know me, the better it is.
Sanjay, Hiramandi is not just a labor of love, but it is also a window for us to cry, to laugh, to celebrate, to dance, to revisit every possible human emotion that our soul wants us to feel and explore. And I think that is what that is what your movies make us do. It's very difficult to say goodbye to Hiramandi. There are fans who are already discussing plot lines for season 2 and speculating what might happen next because they're not going to let go of these women, these stories, and these characters easily. What do you have to say to those fans who are obviously championing, take this story ahead, we want to again relive, we again want to be in this world?
That all depends on how it works. But I just want to tell the audience that thank you for all the love. Thank you for watching it without biases. Just enjoying the show and celebrating content that is purely Indian and content that I think is a legacy of those great Indian filmmaking, of the great filmmakers that we have. And that tradition is what the audience is celebrating. And I am very, very, very grateful to them.
And thank you once again, Sanjay, for making Hiramandi and continuing to sort of just let us deep dive into your world and live in it and regale in it. This was an extraordinary chat. Once again, thank you for Hiramandi.
Thank you. God bless.